Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm John McDonald from JM Run Coach, and today I'm going to talk about my experience at the Almagro Marathon, and I'll also talk about some of the things that led me to sign up for it in the first place and where I go from here. Additionally, if you stick around to the end, I have a few things that I need to work on personally, like cadence and running form, and I'll discuss how I'm going to go about doing that. If you do enjoy this content, I'd greatly appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. And I'd also appreciate you getting involved in the conversation, ask questions, give me your input. This, I'm hoping, will be a interactive channel and we can work together. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, get your notifications. I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, Almagro. Why the Almagro Marathon now? I have a place in London at the end of April. I just did Valencia in December, the beginning of December. So why did I choose Almagro in January? So that's a good question. First of all, I had, I don't want to say disappointing. I didn't meet my personal expectations in Valencia. I ran 3:00. I was hoping for 2:49. I thought I was in good enough shape, and I did the training for 2:49. Things just didn't work out on the day. I signed up for Almagro thinking that 8 more weeks of training would put me in a good place to run a really good marathon and one that I would be proud of and could then allow me to run London almost as a celebration, go around and enjoy the atmosphere without really pushing too hard. Because the last time I ran it, I ran 2:56 in 2023, had a great run, but I missed everything. I had the blinders on. So it would have been nice to go around London and just enjoy it. That being said, I don't know if I would be particularly happy going around a marathon like that and not really pushing myself. Almagro. My plans changed for Almagro when I got back here to Spain at the beginning of January after a couple of weeks in Ireland. Christmas, New Year's, a lot of food, a lot less training, no real focus on the event coming up. So by the time I got a couple more weeks of training in at the beginning of January, I had changed my perspective on how I was going to run Almagro. Almagro is a beautiful medieval town in central Spain, heading up towards Madrid. It's about a 3-hour drive north of me here from Alicante. It's a beautiful town. It's a very small event. I think there's about 150 runners who took part. So that said, the organization was excellent. We got there on Saturday night, went to pick up our bibs, no problem at all, and had a really nice close apartment from Airbnb. And we did a recce, went out, found where the start line was. Everything went really well. And let me tell you a little bit more about Almagro Marathon, okay? It is 14 loops of a 3K course. Very unique and interesting. It was a relatively flat course. There was slight inclines, slight declines. One section of about 20 meters was up a sharp hill on cobbles, but straight back down again. It was what I would call a fair course. What it took away, it gave back, right? I've run far worse courses in my marathoning history. So the course itself, fine, interesting, unique. The organization, excellent, really good. There was a MC from start to finish, calling everybody's names as we went through lap after lap. The beauty of a course like that is you pass the water stops and the nutrition stations 14 times, right? So my wife was there. She had my nutrition, and she was able to set herself up before the water and give them to me when I needed them. The plan was to take gels at lap 3, lap 6, 8, 10, and 12. So things kicked off pretty well. I got into a nice rhythm to start, maybe a little bit too fast, but the objective was to get into a rhythm where I did not get into a rhythm in Valencia. I wanted to get into a rhythm, and it didn't have to be fast, it just needed to be comfortable and sustainable. That was fine for the first 3 laps. I took my first gel at lap 3. This was, I don't even know the name of these gels, but they did not sit well with me. By lap 5, I was really starting to struggle with cramping. I took a second gel at lap 6. By lap 7, I was in real distress, and I think it was at lap 7 or maybe 8 that I had to stop and use the toilet, and my pace was just gone at that point. I think at one point it was a 6 or 7 minute kilometer. That was the K that I had to stop, and I never really got back into any momentum, and my head wasn't in it after that point anyway. However, I got to say I'm proud of having finished. I finished in 3:15. My going in Going into Almagro, I said 3:10 would be realistic to be comfortable, and I finished in 3:15 even with the cramping and the stopping. So not too bad. I ended up third in my category. I did win a trophy for that. Another male 50 passed me with about 200 meters to go, and I just didn't have the will to go with him. But it was a really, really good event. They had food and drinks afterwards, and very local kind of feel to it, with music playing and a festival type of atmosphere, a fiesta, if you will. I have to say, even though I suffered, I did enjoy it. I really did enjoy it, and I would be tempted to go back and do it again. There's a lot of other marathons in Spain that have excellent reputations. So, the likes of Seville and Malaga, Barcelona, some of these things I would like to do, and maybe do them before I go back to Almagro. But Almagro would be a possible one to do a second time with a little bit more preparedness. The good thing about not having a particularly great run in Almagro is that my legs didn't get pulled out of me as if I had raced for 26.2 miles. That's left me in a good position to just pick up my training for London without missing a whole lot of time. So that's really, really positive. I knew I needed to work on a couple of things. My on-course nutrition, which is going to be a challenge going forward, because the gels that I would normally use and I have used over the last number of years aren't available here. I can't even get them on the internet here. So that was going to need to be addressed. So on-course nutrition was going to be a challenge. And so this Almagro Marathon for me was going to be more or less an experiment. I could have and should have, in hindsight, picked up the gels that I was going to try in Almagro earlier and had a few in between. However, I didn't. And I think, it's a basic marathon 101. Don't do anything new on race day. But because it wasn't going to be a race, I didn't really worry about it. I knew, if I didn't run a perfectly great race, I'd been pleased enough as long as I get the work in. If this was going to be a training run for London. What did I notice in the lead up to Almagro? Well, first and foremost, my cadence has been falling off a cliff lately, and also my running form. Okay, so I know I need to get into better habits in my training. Additionally, I need to get my nutrition sorted. My on-course nutrition needs to get sorted. I've recently just ordered Morton gels. I will give them a try. They're supposed to be better on the stomach than some of the other ones. The thing about gels is I've never had any issue with stomach problems, with the exception of Chester. But I don't think that was down to the gels. I think that was down to the evening meal the night before. However, Morton gels are on the cards now, so they should be here tomorrow. I will use them in my training and make sure that I'm ready for London. The other two things I need to work on is cadence and running form. When it comes to cadence, I've noticed over the course of the last few weeks, months even, my cadence has dropped significantly, and it was that way in Valencia as well. So typically my racing cadence is up around 178 to about 182. Recently my training cadence has been down to 165, very rarely reaching 170. So in Almagro it was 165 was my average cadence. Not good enough, especially considering my stride length. Okay, and my particular style is more of a 4-foot foot strike, and I do try to aim to have a quick turnover. That is something I need to work on. So I'm listening to a playlist that has 170 to 175 beats per minute, which I'm trying to synchronize with. And what I'm going to do is, over the next couple of weeks, work at building my cadence up to about 175. And then after I get comfortable in and around 175, then increase it up to around 180 and spend a few weeks at 180. That should help. The thing is, you can't do that too quickly, or you're gonna start changing your stride, which can be an injury risk. And at this point, I don't need any injuries. I'm just gonna take it slow and increase my cadence over the next 2 months. When it comes to racing form or running form, I'm wasting a lot of energy. Okay, my arms, I've developed this habit of turning my arm over, right? And that's just wasting energy. I need to just remember, keep the mental cues to keep my shoulders back and down and just drive the arms, right? This wasting energy, arms flailing, not being good and upright. Another way that I'm working on that is getting back to my strength training, because I'm losing form and I'm losing that core strength that we all need as runners. Whether I'm losing it or not, I don't know, but it's not coming through in my running form, especially my racing form. When I look at the photographs and the videos of me running, I'm not at all pleased with my running form. I'm inefficient, I'm droopy, I don't look strong. Feel it, but I don't look it. So back to the strength training, which I should have been doing anyway. That said, morning routine is back to the early morning strength training and back to the yoga and back to some sports massage and cold plunges. These are the things I'm working on. And, these are the types of things that we need as marathon runners in order to run really well. Okay, I have a lot of other things to go through with you over the next few weeks and months. I will keep you updated with how the training is going for London, and I'll try to do a weekly update as to different techniques and tips that I'm working on. One other thing to mention is I have launched my new website, JM Run Coach, jmruncoach.com. I have moved my blog there. I have a couple of free resources. One of the free resources I have on the website is Target Interval Training Guide. Okay, In that, it takes your current 5K, 10K race times, goes from 400 meter, 800 meter, 1K reps, 1200 meter, 1600 meter, and 1 mile reps. And it gives you what time you should complete that interval in. And it also converts that to minutes per kilometer and minutes per mile. So a really useful tool. I highly suggest that if you're interested, it's free. You just need to go and check it out on my website, JM Run Coach, under training plans. So check it out. Let me know if there's anything else that you'd be interested in seeing on the website from a blog point of view or from a sales point of view. I have my books, I have my training plans, I have my coaching services. But if there's something I'm missing, let me know. I'd appreciate it. Okay, well, that's me for today. Thanks for sticking around, and I will catch you next week. All right, happy running.